Okay, good. We're live, so we're starting now.
Okay, good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock, Thursday, June 11th. And I'm calling,
Hey, would you mind putting on yourself on mute?
On my AirPods because it's a little loud.
Thank you.
All right, there we go.
and I'm calling the Environmental Advisory Committee meeting to order. We're acknowledging that the press and public were duly notified of the meeting in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. And our first item on the agenda is the approval of the previous meeting's minutes.
Motion to approve?
Can I have a second?
Second.
Are there any discussion? Okay, then, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. We don't have citizens' comments. We don't have a presentation. So we'll start with our old business. Discussion of the setting of the date for the Resilience 101 training with Catherine Min, who's with the South Carolina Department of Resilience, which is SCORE. And she got back to me with dates, and she is available the first 3 weeks in September, and also the first 2 weeks in November. And both of those windows, we have an Environmental Advisory Committee meeting. So Douglas had even mentioned the last month when we brought this up, that maybe we could replace our EAC meeting with the Resilience 101 training. And so I wanted to see if that would be workable. And I can get the dates. I think
Would
it's
that be September 10th
September 10th, and then it's
or October 8th?
November.
Oh, yeah, she's going on.
The 2 weeks in November, first 2 weeks in November. So it would be the 12th, November 12th, or it could be September the 10th.
Could
And-
we allow some leeway just in case there's something brewing that we need to talk about? Like address, take care of some business in addition, but make the
Oh, yeah.
primary focus of the meeting, the Resilience 101 training.
Well, it's an hour to an hour and a half.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it would really take up the entire,
But if there's some burning thing to get
I mean,
a
we could-
motion, like a quick 5-10 minute
quick 5 or 10
Yeah.
minutes, yeah.
discussion, I think that'd be fun.
I
Did
don't
you
have
get any
anything particular in mind, but.
Did you get any feedback? Did you see my email?
I did. I'm gonna, once you all set the date.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually talk to Catherine today and
Okay.
you all talked about the credit, potentially.
Yes.
Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals both need an hour and a half of credit, so this would satisfy for them. So once you all set a date, I'm gonna invite council, planning, Board of Zoning Appeals.
Perfect. Okay.
To attend, and there's incentive for at least the Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals. to
Yeah.
get some credit.
All right. So with that, how is everybody's schedule? I am available both
Yep.
dates.
Yep.
Yes?
Yeah.
Of course, we don't have Todd here, and we don't have, I was going to do roll call.
Sorry, I got it.
That's okay. Can we do that real quick, or should we're in, all right. So Todd and Charlotte are not here. But,
I think Todd told us that he hated to miss 2 in a row, but that he was
yeah,
in for I think you said the rest of, that was it for him, in terms of conflicts.
So
I
my
think he's
only,
gonna be good.
my only comment with the timing of the training is perhaps September might be easier.
I'm
because
thinking so,
November
too.
With the holidays.
me,
and
yeah, me
all that
too.
coming
I'm
up.
leaning toward September.
Mhm.
And worst case, I mean, I think Charlotte will be back in school, but I know she can come for these meetings. So, and then Todd, so why don't does somebody want to make a motion that we go with the September 10th? Do we don't need that?
Not a
Okay,
motion.
all right.
And Todd said he's available to.
Yeah.
We're right
in hurricane season, exactly. All right, then let's go with the September 10th, and we'll make it our EAC meeting. Wonderful, thank you all for working me on this, September 10th. Okay, Then item B under old business is our discussion of the resources that Catherine had given us for some of our matrix items. And I had handed them out, but then I didn't email the entire group. I did it in chunks of 2 and 3 at a time. But, and you'll see that what I had sent her, we've made some good progress with a lot of these. We're either in the process of working on them already, or we have, in 1 or 2 cases, we've completed them. So I wanted to see, I know, Sean, you had emailed me that you wanted to take on the septic. And I've got some really good information from Nag's Head, which is up in North Carolina. And I also have information from a COG meeting, which is the groups of, the governmental groups from Berkeley County, Dorchester County, Charleston County, and they've had several septic meetings, and I've attended them, along with Chris from the water company. And I've got a lot of really good information about a septic program that Mount Pleasant has just this year initiated. And I can share that with you as well. And if you want me to kind of collaborate with you on it, I'm happy to be part of the team.
Well, let me see what kind of information is available,
And from these-
resources, and,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I would love to see us maybe take a little of this and a little of that, and maybe find some ways to use what Mount Pleasant's been doing
Right.
and what Next has
Yeah,
done.
there's no need to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm happy to do that too, because I'm coming into the matrix later, so I'm not assigned at this point. Unless you want to put me on something else.
No. I wanted everybody to look through this and see if something jumped out as yeah, I really want to take that on. And Sean did that, so is that okay,
Yeah,
Sean?
that's great.
Okay. I have, and
Can I
then,
ask a general question, just because I'm curious?
sure.
Are septic systems in coastal communities or on barrier islands more vulnerable than normal septic systems?
Yes,
Okay, so even though they're closed systems, somehow they're more vulnerable?
because of sea level rise. We also have a
Because of
very.
storm surge,
Yeah.
too.
Storm surge, we also have a very shallow drain field, and
Water table. The
the
water
water,
table's
and
very
the,
close.
and the
to
water
the
table
drain.
is very close to the,
So it's not them in themselves, it's just where they drain to is problematic?
Yeah, they need to be in the dry sand to operate properly.
Properly.
And that dry sand is what provides the filtration before it gets to the kind of aquifer. For us, the two are so close, sometimes it's under the water table and it doesn't operate at all because it's underwater. Other times they're so close, there's not, we don't think there's enough filtration between the drain field and the water table. So it's definitely a thing.
can be problematic. If they're maintained properly and checked regularly, and also pumped out regularly, they can work great. But the problem is, right now, we don't have any ordinances that talk to maintenance or inspections of any kind. So,
I would just say for the benefit of the group that the Isle of Palms has a very long history with the issue, including there was a time when we enacted an inspection requirement. It ultimately got repealed by council. There was a pretty deep dive by the Planning Commission on kind of all things that led to rules kind of pushing people to, requiring that people expand when possible, when close by, because it's extremely expensive for an individual to expand the public system. So all that to say is there's a kind of mountain of history on it here locally that whoever is working on it, I have.
And I'm part of it, so.
I have a lot of old documents.
well, yeah, that
and
was
old
what I
reports.
used for the historical perspective on my whole water quality testing.
Okay,
And that's
was,
that's the other part of it.
that
is
was done.
the water testing, if taken at face value, is showing that currently there's not an environmental problem. So that's
Well,
kind of always been
a human environmental, that's a dog environmental
right.
problem.
There's no septic
Right.
environmental
Right,
problem
exactly.
now. So that's always kind of put back in the face of efforts to try to push more sewer systems, is it'll say, hey, your own data is showing you it's not creating a problem now. I think that a lot of folks feel like if we continue down this path, the data is going to show problems. So why not kind of start making adjustments now? But that's always the kind of headwinds that the issue faces, is it's sewer lines are just extremely expensive. At the end of the day, you know, somebody is left paying the bill to expand sewer, and it's prohibitively expensive. And the data doesn't currently show that there's a problem justifying the expense. That's kind of to boil down the.
And there's no state money.
Well, there is actually a lot of.
There is a lot.
There's a lot of grant money. Part of what the water and, the other part of this is there is an entire water and sewer commission. That this is their purview, their jurisdiction, their authority. So it's a little bit of kind of getting, you know, the city getting cross with their authority as the water and sewer commission. But they have a general, I think we share a goal of
A
eventually.
memo of
having-
understanding is what, an MOA.
Yeah, having a fully sewered island.
I can give you,
We share,
download.
to reach that goal, we share in the same federal lobbyists. And the lobbyists are trying to kind of get together grant money for the effort. So that there are things that are in play. It's, you know, it's very expensive. There's not, they haven't kind of struck it rich yet with grant money, but that seems to be the unlatching it.
what I can do is have an initial meeting with y'all and give you the download of everything I've got, including what Douglas is talking about, and then let you go with that, and then also with the information that Catherine's given us here as far as contacts. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
So if you want to email me after you decide on a day to get together, and then I'll give you the download and let you go.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Set you free. Is that good?
Yep.
Okay. I'll jump in and then I'll let everybody, I guess it's the second page, the partnering with neighboring coastal communities, especially Mount Pleasant and Sullivan's Island. Actually, it's the third page. Catherine has given me a contact with a resilience and sustainability manager in Charleston County. Her name is Molly Caggiano. It's Caggiano. And I'm having a Zoom call with her next week. So I was going to start to pursue, again, getting information about what the other communities are doing from a resilience standpoint. She mentioned that there's a Charleston Sustainability and Resilience Expo. That was actually last year. And I checked, they are not going to do it this year. And that's what's led me to at least have this Zoom call with Molly, because there's some other things that we might be able to partner with and get involved with. But they are not specifically going to be doing this Charleston County Resilience and Sustainability Conference like they did last year. So with that, did anybody else have
I have some strong connections to the Mount Pleasant Green Commission.
okay,
Which, David Quick, I'm not sure if he's the leader, and you may know David.
yeah,
He's very active, but we used to work together and know
Okay.
each other really well.
So-
And then also Liz Boyles is.
yeah,
is
Liz is,
wonderful, and.
yeah, and I've
I
talked with her too, yeah,
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 she's
because
great.
she's with the tree bank.
Yes, and she's the.
She's the planner.
She's the planner.
Yeah.
With and they're doing a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah,
as we-
yeah,
with-
exactly.
With trees. at least, but I think other things too.
So if you want, do you want to,
Yeah, I can definitely, like, I'm not, what,
we
Should
could just
we-
share
yeah, I've
information.
already been pinging him for, like, what are you guys doing? So,
Okay.
on trees,
All
some
right.
of the other things, but, yeah.
Did anybody else have?
I'm just looking at the things that we're already working on, because I think those are things that I could just see lingering.
We can definitely continue, yeah, because
So-
we haven't completed stuff, right?
Like, for example, this native plant guide online, didn't you show what Sullivan's Island is doing there? And we talked about,
We have a
Yeah.
subcommittee that's working on that right now.
okay, where's
And
that at?
we've had our second meeting,
Okay,
and we're starting to come up with some possible new and/or tweaks to existing tree ordinances that we have.
so that's two of these things then. Okay, so the working of things now, like there are, who has that? And how can people who aren't help? Because it sounds like it, Laura, you alone just named three of the things you're working on by yourself, so.
Well, yeah,
Um,
Britain.
so
and I-
Britain
Okay.
yeah.
And,
All right,
yeah, we're
so yeah,
doing the
just-
tree stuff.
for me, tell me where you think things are lacking and I can help. I don't really have a particular preference on this list. But my opinion would be to get the stuff we're working on, if we can get those done faster, then great, and then we can kind of go on this, because some of these initiatives are super broad. But again, if you think some of these things are already over the finish line, then, or close to it, then.
We've
I can
kind
keep on.
of, well, we've kind of started on the last page, the targeting the city properties at risk of flooding, not with rain gardens and dry ponds, but we've got two of the sea rise signs up. Robert's got one at 32nd Avenue and one at 29th. We're going to have one at the 25th, 28th Avenue beach access path. And that's also sort of, well, not purchasing flood prone. So that's, we're not doing it with rain gardens and dry ponds, but we're doing it with the sea rise.
Yeah, I thought that was
project.
another one on this list, wasn't it? Wasn't the aquarium? I think that's on page.
That was the, yeah, that's the sea, sorry, that's the sea
Right,
rise.
that's done.
And that's done. That's the involving the public in the South Carolina Aquarium Sea Rise Sign Project, and that's done.
Oh, you might be thinking about the blue line
No, I'm thinking of the.
The sea
aquarium.
rise,
Yep.
or the, okay.
What else are we in the process of working on?
So one thing that's not on here, I need to add something, but I know was one of the recommendations that was coming from the task force, and that Sullivan's Island has already advanced pretty well, but or they're in the process of passing ordinances around gas-powered leaf blowers and restrictions, and so I'd be, just to put that out there for when they get finished, they did a bunch of research.
Yeah.
Did a survey, public survey that showed a lot of buy-in from the public in wanting restrictions for noise and pollution. Once they get done, I think we could be an easy win for us to kind of take their product and look at it and potentially advance that on Isle of Palms. And would be great. I think what they're looking at is restricting contractors, asking them to use battery-powered equipment rather than gas-powered, with less pollution, less noise, rather than, and not ask homeowners specifically. I think they're going back and forth on that maybe, but I think that's probably where they're gonna land. But it sounds intriguing, and if it is contractor focused, it would be great to have both islands asking for that. It would help push the contractors to change.
Susan, did you say they already passed that?
I was looking back at it, they were like, I think they may require 3 readings. I think they've gone through 2 readings possibly already. Sorry, I don't have very specific information. but they're in the midst of passing something.
Okay. Yeah, because we took it up a couple years ago, and it went over like a lead balloon.
Oh, right. I know. I think one of the council members floated the idea, but I think things have advanced, and now there's a lot more awareness, and I think a lot of people would like to see some changes. And Robert can
Yeah,
speak.
I would have been for it back then, and I certainly wouldn't be against it, and I'd love to hear what Sullivan has come up with.
And I think Robert can speak to the fact that the city has already taken the leadership role in making changes with some of their own staff.
Yeah, Public Works has an electric blower, an electric weed whacker, but the
Okay.
rest of the, recreation does not. So,
Oh, okay.
there's
Okay.
still others.
Well, that can be, again, I wanted to bring that eventually. But I think we need to look at right now what's here. I actually, Andrew, who is the COO of Waldoons Community Association, is starting to do roundtables. And I signed up to attend that this week. And he mentioned that, and he has a big history with Hilton Head. That's where he actually still lives, and he's making the transition here. But he was talking about, he feels that the landscaping, specifically in Waldoons, could use a refresh. And I said, well, I'm excited to hear you say that because I've got a lot of information about native plants. And Terry Hackett even said at a board meeting that the deer had eaten all of the plants, the flowers that they had planted. And I texted her and said, Terry, talk to me about native plants because they can be deer resistant. So anyway, on that third page at the bottom, it says encourage and provide incentives for residents, businesses, developers, Waldoons Resort and homeowner associations to increase native plants on residential and commercial properties. So I've already started that ball rolling with WDCA, but that's, just one part of our community. So if anybody wants to, and I was going to reach out to Kiowa and get more information about their strategies to, do this and talk with these groups and learn from them as to what they've found that works or what doesn't work. So if anybody else wants to help me with that, because I've already started it. I mean, it was just a perfect time when he said, I said, well, and I had the native plan information that I had been given for the hurricane and Hurricane and Resilience Expo.
Yeah.
And so I gave him brochures and I gave him contact information for Charlene Johnson. And so I feel like and Eric, I told him about and I also mentioned glyphosate.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I know that your staff is not of the opinion that they would ever be willing to stop using it on the golf courses, but I would want to encourage, and I said, I know Green Carolina, which is the main contractor for Waldoons. I'd already talked to Trent, and he uses it very sparingly, and I said, so any additional push that we could do towards expanding, and I said, and the city they have passed an ordinance that we will not spray glyphosate on city property. So we're setting a standard, and so I'm trying to cover both bases.
Well, and I'll just say that Erin from Circulus has worked with Kiowa.
Okay,
So that was actually the reason I first got in touch with her, is because she has actually done templates
All right.
for landscaping with
Okay.
native plants. And we just kind of got diverted to what she had done with Sullivan's, because that was so significant.
Okay.
But I think we could also get with Kiowa and adapt some of
Okay.
those
Yeah,
things.
Laura, I
too.
can reach out. I can help with that. I can reach out to Kiowa. if
Okay,
you'd like, and
okay.
just get that ball rolling.
Okay.
I mean,
and then we-
and I actually have some of that stuff already from Aaron, but yeah.
Great.
And it seems like some of that is education.
Yes,
Like, there's a
it
lot-
is.
There are new houses in my neighborhood, and you pick a landscape plan and all that, and you don't really
Yeah.
know, like, what's native, what's not native, it's just a lot of
Right.
education.
Which
And then-
ties into the thing you guys are working on already.
Yeah.
The database.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, a lot of this really does, it's all native plant,
trees.
native trees. And just the other ironic thing is, I'm also on the Shoreline Management Committee, which is the WDCA committee that's going to oversee the beach renourishment project specific to Waldoons. And I'm going to be, we've been given different tasks because it's not just about putting the sand out. We also, they're going to put enough sand to help build dunes, but we're going to have to buy plants and create and design good dune systems. And I'm teamed up with one of the gentlemen, and I'm not going to remember his name, but
Dietmar.
well, Dietmar's
John.
the chair. He's the chair, but there's 7 members. I'm one of 7. And one of the other gentlemen and he and I are going to work together on living shorelines. And that's one of the ones at the bottom there on the 3rd page. So
And I think that's a good example, if you had some PR around that and what Wild Dunes is doing.
Yeah.
Or what IOP is doing related to this whole.
and then I
reduction.
can pass it on to here. So, I'm already kind of handling that too. Yay!
Yeah, you're doing too much.
No. So, but if somebody else wants to work with, with the Isle of Palms portion of Living Shorelines, then I can share my information and we can, work together on that.
I assume it's consistent between the south end and north end, because it comes out of the.
Well, I mean, I
IOP
guess when I think
budget,
living
right?
shoreline, I'm thinking marsh degradation. I might be wrong, but that's kind of where I think about it.
A lot of
Sure.
times it's like oyster,
Yeah, oyster
Yeah.
reefs
yeah.
to build,
so
yeah.
more on the.
So there,
more
from
on
the city's
marsh side.
perspective, there's nothing planned or underway on the marsh side. Obviously,
But there's
a lot
grass
planned on
and
the-
dunes and.
there is still work to be done. So the renourished beach dune will be at least vegetated.
Right.
There's a little bit of a,
And that's what you're talking about, vegetating the.
Yeah.
that'll be part of the city's project, will be vegetating the newly constructed dune that gets renourished.
But you're right, that it could be more marsh-oriented.
Yeah, there's, kind of
With-
heard a lot, hear a lot about how much focus there is on the front side, and that there's little to no focus on, the marsh and the backside, so, and that's a fair assessment.
Yeah,
We are
it
very
is.
hyper-focused on the beach and a little bit, turn our eye at the backside. It's not crawling with eyes either. I mean,
Yeah.
the beach goers are out here in the droves
Yeah.
and they're just not, people kind of see the marsh behind their house. But the average beach, there's not the constant visitation that we have on the front side, so
Yeah.
it doesn't get quite the attention.
Well, and that goes with the salt, we would like to put more attention on the salt marsh. And we've already talked about that, and that was a lot of the interpretive signs
Right.
are trying
Yeah.
to
Right.
steer education that
To
direction.
that side as well, yeah.
Do you think there's an area on the backside that needs attention with some kind of, like oyster reef
So
nourishment?
we looked into it very surface level when we were doing projects that were filling in wetlands, and there was an offsetting mitigation that we were required to do. So we had our engineers do kind of a quick assessment about, and for us, it was really if we could do a project and it be no more expensive than just paying into a mitigation bank, we wanted to do that. They kind of looked at it at a very high level and said, there's not an easily identifiable, project or need, and, so we did look at it, I will say very kind of high level, quick brush. On occasion will hear somebody say, hey, I've noticed that the marsh we seem to be seeing dieback here and there. So a little bit, but not, kind of once a year we'll hear a comment
I think,
about the
think-
backside.
there could be more done in terms of education, especially with the homeowners along the marsh, about what they could do to help nurture a healthy marsh, and also with sea level rise, be prepared for some of their, there needs to be some room for marsh grass and to recede and they're gonna have to give up some of their property, unfortunately, if they want to help a healthy marsh. But that in turn, they'll get, that provides protection for the property, so.
Do you want to,
I got a lot going on too.
well,
But yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
Okay. And is that on the matrix, or are we adding to? the
yeah, no,
matrix?
that's
You're the
on,
governor of the matrix.
that's the initiate,
It's a Google on
Isn't
Google
that
Drive
the-
now.
the
Oh, we should-
initiate the pilot projects, including living shorelines,
Okay.
bioswales, and rain gardens.
That's on the fourth page.
It's on the fourth page. It's the bottom, or, third page, bottom of the third page, top of fourth.
And
So,
I did have an idea around native plants and gardens that we were going to talk about in the next.
yeah.
Should I just wait on that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think we're working through.
You mind if I make a couple of comments on the matrix?
Sure.
Josh, can you go to the smart sheet and then go to the public safety matrix? You guys are probably doing more on the matrix than any other of the committees right now, so we feel kind of like we're gonna lose track of what you're doing if we don't capture it somewhere. So what the city uses is a software called Smartsheet that's a task tracking and project management tool. This is the public safety matrix. We've changed it a little bit from its original design. You don't need to get too wrapped up in it. It just, the text on the left is exactly how the goals came out of the various committees. And then we've added some little blocks and cells to the right to try to help kind of manage the tasks and not lose track of them. Just really quickly, the ones in yellow are the ones we're flagging for council level, and then the different colors kind of correspond with something else. Like some we're recommending that they be deleted because they've been overtaken by events. Some of them were recommending that the council acknowledge or the committee acknowledge that they're complete because they've literally been done, and it's letting them see the progress going through the matrix. So go to the EAC one now, Josh. We haven't really done anything on this one other than just load it into Smartsheet. And we would eventually one day want to try to kind of adapt this one the way we did the public safety matrix. And before we do that, what we thought we also would want to do is sit down with some of the team here and reconcile what you've already done and make sure that we capture that and get it into the matrix. Go to the city's webpage real quick, Josh.
Eric, are you volunteering for being the?
Well, he's
Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of
it's,
got,
we're
he's
kind of,
kind of got,
doing the same.
we've kind
kind
of
of
done
got
that.
it,
So,
yeah.
so Nicole, I sent you a Google, kind of the Google sheet that we created, which is exactly
Pretty similar.
same
yeah, very
thing.
similar.
So it's got, all that needs to be done is the
Whatever
information from the
colors you
Google
want.
sheet incorporated into this new
Yeah.
sheet. And
I
there's
think
not
that
a
would-
lot. I mean, it's because we focused on kind of the near-term stuff. So I think it's like 13 line items, maybe a little bit. A lot of it's done because I think a lot of it was kind of, we looped into that event. So this stuff that we just discussed would be new ones, but
Yeah.
I think it'd be a pretty quick exercise.
Yeah, I don't think it would take too long. And this way it would, exist beyond all of our individual tenures and stuff, and people would have access to it. Go to the community enrichment plan real quick. It's under, I think, government and plans. Yeah, and then go to objective 12.3. Under environmental. Yep. So Douglas and Josh sat down a while back and went through the entire community enrichment plan, and there's a lot of your stuff in here. So going through the matrix would also help us update this one. And there's, I think that's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, so this is like a real world example of where the EAC is working on something that's underway, a Good Neighbor brochure is underway, for example. So this, the matrix kind of helps us also update and, allow people to look at what's happening within the community enrichment plan. So,
That's great. They have
Yeah.
added the status to all those. Yeah, it's lovely.
so you've been designated as the governor of this, I think.
Yes,
so
he
if
has.
you want
Matrix
Yeah,
governor?
caretaker, janitor. Yeah, so if you can,
Custodian.
yeah, the custodian, that's better.
That's much better.
Yeah, if you can give me the link to the spreadsheet with all the EAC, I can update it.
Okay,
And if I have
I'll see if
questions,
we
I'll
can do
just-
that. We probably can. It's, some things require you have like a license, and some of them you can just comment on it, so I'll have, Weapon X over there help me figure out how to do that.
How to give me access, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I get an IOP badge out of it to get access, all the better.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I mean, I
Thank you,
think
that was it.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I feel like we're getting a lot done. I mean, we're not necessarily at the finish line of all these things, but
We're in progress.
yeah, making things
Okay.
happen.
All right. Great. Then let's move along. We have new business, and I have an IOP tree bank proposal. And this came out of a brochure that I got a couple years ago at one of the nature-based events and it was from Mount Pleasant, and they have a tree bank program. And so I contacted Liz Boyles, who is the neighborhood livability chief of the town of Mount Pleasant, and picked her brain. And I met with Douglas, and I took the information that she gave me on their plan, and we talked about what we have from mitigation money that has come in, from people who have removed trees and had to put funds in for taking them out. And we came up with a similar plan, but something that could be tailored specific here to Isle of Palms. And that's what's in the packet, and hopefully I still have it here, yeah. So we have a pretty large fund and it's not really being used, correct?
It does routine,
Yeah,
tree maintenance on tree sites. It does the,
For
palm
city-
tree maintenance.
yeah,
It does
for-
some irrigation on trees here and
Right.
there. But the fund has to be used on trees and beautification, so it's a restricted fund. Laura, I can't remember, Deborah told us the balance.
it was like $260-something
Yeah,
thousand
so
dollars.
It gets bigger, each year it grows a little bit. We
Right.
don't-
And that's because
Literally.
when people wind up removing
Removing.
a tree or getting fined
That's
for,
correct.
It
for
goes in there.
removing it without proper permission,
It
that
goes
money
into that
goes
fund,
in.
that's
Right.
correct.
And so I've named it the Get Rooted Tree Bank proposal. The Mount Pleasant is Take Root, so it's not quite the same, but I think it'd be or nice to put it as a Get Rooted. And Douglas feels that we could set aside $100,000 from the annual tree mitigation funds.
So
That
of
would-
that existing
of that
260,
existing
270, take 100 of it or so.
And he feels comfortable that the money would be replenished on an annual basis, so we wouldn't necessarily be taking too much. And what we would be doing is allowing residents, civic clubs, and other community groups to be able to access the grant money to plant trees, and we would share the cost with them, 50%. We would have them buy the trees, the tree or trees, and it would be up to $1,000 cost for, which would be a pretty healthy tree, and we want at least a 4-inch caliper native tree as the minimum size to be put in. And so they would front the money up front, and then the city would reimburse them 50% of that. So if it's $1,000 tree, 1 or 2 trees, the city would give them $500, excuse me. Trees could be planted in an appropriate space on private property as within 10 feet of a public right-of-way. So this would give residents an opportunity to plant on property, but that's possibly near streets, which would enhance our
But
tree
away from
canopy.
power lines.
Right, and it would have to be right tree, right place. And the resident would be responsible for maintaining and caring for the tree. The trees could be planted in publicly accessible spaces like parks and churches, and civic groups and church groups could apply. To me, what we can do today is at least decide if we want to approve starting this project and but there's still work that would have to be done to complete it, because we have to come up with an application for people to fill out. We also have to decide on how we're going to vet the trees that if a citizen comes in and wants to put trees in, who's gonna be responsible for saying, yes, you can do this. Mount Pleasant has a committee that does that. We don't necessarily have that, and right now it would potentially be someone with the EAC. We might be able to ask Jerry Benoit to help us, but we would need a dedicated group of people, at least 2 or 3 people, that would be able to vet the actual project if a citizen or a group came, or a civic group came to us. Mount Pleasant has that you have to actually put together at least a sketch of what you want to do, pictures of where it would go. I mean, there's still more work that would have to be done, but I wanted to at least bring this idea, because we have the blessing from our city administrator at this point. This would also have to be approved by city council. So there's still work that has to be done on it, but I wanted to at least bring it to you all today, see if we could get a motion to at least approve the idea, and then move forward with the nitty-gritty of the rest of what needs to be done to make it really work properly.
Yeah, because I think it's a great idea, especially if they have the money. But I think that protocols definitely need to be established, because we don't want trees to be planted willy-nilly.
No.
Without any type of benefit from it. So I think there certainly needs to be criteria or a matrix for that.
Exactly. And again, it would have to be native trees. And some trees don't grow to, heights where they would infringe on power lines. But if someone wants to put a tree in that is going to, then we have to say no and maybe give them alternatives. Live oak is a perfect example of a tree that may not be the right tree for an area where there's power lines. We know palmetto trees are not a good idea. So we don't want more of those taken out.
Can we connect this to the canopy
Douglas,
survey?
Yes.
how is
Yes.
that fund used now? Like, how are we
Pretty
spend that
sparingly,
now?
but it really is just the maintenance that happens to city trees and the trees that are in the public right of way. So all the palm trees get maintained out of that, all of the rec center, city properties, trees are maintained out of that. But outside of those expenses, I don't know if just straight landscaping ever comes out of it, like the frontage, it's just separate.
Yeah, that's it.
So it doesn't get tapped a ton, and I will say it really is just maintenance. It does, a handful of times we've planted a tree, we lost a tree at the back here, we planted a tree, it came out of that. but it's pretty rare, other than just routine maintenance.
And
So
we,
we don't have an active policy of, trying to plant
No,
trees.
no, we really don't.
It is a clear
Yeah,
goal.
sounds like a great idea then.
the task
Sounds like,
force.
I mean, that's what I always thought that mitigation fund, when I paid into it, that's what
Yeah.
I always thought that.
yeah, and we would have to, the
there
other,
was
the
a
other,
tree planted somewhere.
oh, I'm sorry,
Um,
I don't mean to step on her. The other.
yeah, I like that idea.
Thanks. The other aspect too is, and because when I talked to Liz, again, education and PR is going to be critical because there's no point in doing this if the money's still going to just sit there. We want to make sure people understand that it's available and who it's available to. Josh would be very helpful with getting our PR. We'd need some PR put together and really promote it. And it could be obviously part of the native tree guide that we're already working on. But
Well, and also, when you, like in the building department, when you tell people, if you take out a tree, you have to pay into this fund, but then if you tell them, but if you want to plant a tree somewhere else, we'll pay 50% of it. I mean, I think that would be
well,
a great thing to know.
but not for developers.
So,
Yeah.
well, so Katie, it is already,
Yeah, like for the actual owner, because I could use it I could do it personally, right?
Yes, it's for
Yeah,
private
that's what-
citizens,
yeah, that's why
civic
I'm,
groups.
so I'm a homeowner.
Yes, yes.
I had to take out a tree to build my house. So if I could have, and we planted 6 more trees.
so
So-
and I haven't worked this through my small brain, but, in your example, Katie, we would not want somebody, so if an owner takes out a tree, they have the option of replacing, and depending on the size, replacing that tree with a 4-inch live oak anywhere on their property, or they have the option, and this is for trees less than 16 inches, or they have the option of paying for a 4-inch tree to go into this fund. So they pay, I think it's about $650 per hardwood that you take out that's smaller in size. We wouldn't want the payment to be reduced by half by virtue of this grant. So in other words,
Oh, I see what you get.
so we'd have to work through the example you've just given, Katie, where you actually paid into the tree fund. You now, 10 years later, potentially are taking the money out that you paid in, but as long as I think there was some lag time between that.
Yeah, as
you
long
didn't-
as it's not
It
like,
didn't just cut your contribution to the tree fund in half, I think it would be.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to work out, but I think it's a great idea. So,
Okay.
I mean, motion to,
Can
you do a motion to-
Question, connect it to the canopy survey, because we wanted to identify areas where we need more trees.
yes,
So if we could
Yeah.
use the money in that way, it would be great.
yeah. And that's something that I need your help with, and we'll talk about it after the meeting. So yes, so we have a motion?
yeah, motion to move forward. I mean, I think sounds like we all want to do it. We just, there's
So
a lot of
when-
energy behind this.
when we say move forward, so I guess I see 2 things that need to happen. Details added, sorry, Katie. Details added, like who's gonna do it.
The application,
Application.
where are we gonna put where's the application gonna live? I'm
So-
sure, obviously the website, but,
So we have a task of adding details. We also have a need to get council's blessing on it.
correct.
I don't know what we're talking about pushing forward, if we're talking about adding details to the concept
Yes,
at this point.
I would
before it
like to
goes
have,
council?
yes,
Okay.
I wanna have everything
To
buttoned up
include,
and,
to include like
ready
a
to go.
process, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For submission.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can we do in like an online submission portal on the, where you just drag and drop a packet or something into?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a PDF.
like,
You
Someone
upload
want
it
to
to
second
the
the motion, just so we can keep talking about this?
I second the motion.
Thank you.
all right, and then let's have more discussion if we need to.
I have a question about, did Liz give you an idea of how many people had actually?
They definitely have a problem with getting the word out and letting people know that it's available. It's not being utilized as much as they would like at this point. I mean, people are using it, but that's why they created this brochure, and they were handing it out at the horticulture event that I was at. But she was very upfront, you definitely want to have a good PR program to let people know, because there's no
Did
point.
she have numbers of how
No.
much annually?
No.
I'm just
They
wondering, like,
have-
$100,000 equals like a lot of trees. I don't know if we're gonna see that volume of people.
They
asking.
get $20,000 to $30,000 a year from their tree fund. So they may not have quite as much, and they're doing a 50-50 match up to $2,000, where we're looking at a 50-50
And
match up to
they're a
1,000.
lot bigger community
Yeah.
too,
Mhm.
so I just,
Well, but we have the opportunity, like with the newsletters,
Yes.
to put that in there, also
Yeah.
have it online. So I think we have a lot of opportunity to
Sure.
publicize it.
I'm just wondering if we need to set aside $100,000, because I doubt we'll
Yeah, we
get
would
even close
definitely-
to that.
I mean, that would be up to, we could
I
lower that.
doubt we'll go through the full 100
I guess it
quickly.
No.
doesn't, oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
that would be.
So you're thinking, yeah, that's true, you're not gonna replenish that fast.
Right.
And I did bring, when we were discussing this as a subcommittee, the requirement that it be 10 feet from the from the public right of way, to me, seems like it could mean a lot of people can't participate on Isle of Palms, and maybe you have some thoughts on that after, because you're very familiar with how the
Within
property.
10 feet.
Within, yeah, so if it has to be within 10 feet of the public right of way, that to me seems
Well,
limiting to.
That's not the only place that it can be, but if it's gonna be near a public right-of-way, it has to be within 10 feet, but there can be other places that they can put the
Yeah.
tree. We just don't want it to necessarily go in a backyard.
Yeah, that would be these are gonna be small trees for 40 years. I don't know that the city would feel good about funding something that may or may not be in somebody's yard that you can't really see. So the idea behind having it at somewhere near the front of the road is that it is an additive thing to the street, to the neighborhood, to the community. It can be
And-
monitored easily. We know that it's there. We know that it
Yeah,
kind of able to kind of have it be part of the community's tree.
could you maybe expand it to even 15 feet, just to allow
Yeah.
a little more
Yeah,
flexibility?
10 is a complete.
Then it's still in your
That
front
was-
yard.
Just not in the, really just not kind of
It
tucked
can't be,
behind or.
Isn't the first if you have the street and a yard, isn't like the first 4 feet of the yard like public easement anyway?
More than that,
Right of way.
it's like 15 feet, it's right of way.
It varies significantly.
On a normal road, most of the roads, it's like 15 feet is the public right of way, then your property begins.
Okay, so,
And then it would be in that, and then you have a setback, usually 25 feet from the property, if you're a newer house.
so a 10
Be in
feet,
that-
a 10 feet from right of way functionally is like
25 feet. from the edge
25
of the
feet
road.
from the edge of the road. Okay,
Well, I will
that's
say
a
though,
lot.
it varies based on the campaign sign situation. I'm very familiar. From road to road, it can be 2 feet to 10
Cameron and
feet.
Hartnett are weird.
Yeah,
Those are the two weird ones. Palm is abnormally wide. It's 100 feet, 100-foot right of way, but all the rest are kind of in that.
Okay.
okay. So,
I would just say, in talking to Laura, I think it's a great idea. I think I could envision it being handled similar to how the city deals with ATAX grants. Those are, we broadcast them, they're budgeted each year by city council. There's a little bit of a opening the grant opportunity up. Applications come in, kind of, people are generally made aware, applications come in. They then kind of go through a vetting process with the ATAX committee. They have appearances, they look at the applications, they then make a recommendation to city council. City council deals with them in kind of a little bit en masse, like 4 or 5 at a time. And it makes it a, you're not kind of getting bits and pieces.
Piecemeal, it's more
Yeah.
efficient.
Yeah, it's a more efficient process where the applicants kind of come in and council is able to, at the end of the day, award them en masse a little bit, makes it easy for them.
Okay, all right.
It probably could be, that it could be arranged that the, and I would suggest that this committee, that the entire committee be the committee that vets those requests. Could be set up, I believe, so that the committee has the final say, that the money is basically given to this committee to use your own discretion. Typically, things go back to council, but you all are an advisory committee in your nature, so the kind of most typical thing would be a recommendation to council. But the problem is if they don't want to deal with one or two on every council agenda of these
Right.
kind of $500 things. So
Right.
we want to make it efficient.
Okay.
So some kind of procedural things to work out in terms of how it happens. But I do think the city is familiar enough with the ATAX grant process that would be a pretty good model for this.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be something quarterly or, something along those lines.
We did talk about, when we were talking with Jerry Benoit, the arborist, and he had pointed to Sullivan's Island having a tree commission.
Yeah.
And that's more for people to be able to appeal or, in terms of moving trees and removing trees. But I wonder if we did go down that road, that's a
Wouldn't
whole other
advocate a new
conversation. Huh?
We have enough commissions.
Okay,
Would not advocate for, especially with a pilot. If it goes wild and it gets to being a
okay.
thing that's worthy of a full standalone commission.
You
We
got too
could-
many pieces.
But
Okay.
I would say at this point, this group would be the great
Okay.
kind of sounding board for that.
Is there a value add on this to do like a tiered reimbursement to be able to drive activity? So thinking about a road that has already got the power lines buried, for instance, that would be a preferred location. Or
Like
some-
where preferred location, you give 100%? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what the
Tiered?
numbers would be. I'm just asking, is it worth a conversation? I mean, would we want to do,
That's a
a
great
60
idea.
or 75% reimbursement for the trees or the
The
roads where
areas.
we have buried power lines, or locations where we don't have the canopy that we want?
Yeah.
And then, where we've got a power line running down one side, I don't think we want 50 trees on the other side of the road.
Right.
So that would probably be lower.
Balance it out. That's a great idea.
Seems like it would play in with the tree canopy talk.
Yeah,
that the group
exactly.
is considering.
Okay.
Like, if there is a
Maybe make a note of
hotspot,
that.
if we really would like trees here, maybe that's, we want them so badly that we'll pay 100%. If you're
Yeah.
willing to
Yeah.
have a tree
Oh, that
Yeah,
you take adoption.
that you
of.
take adoption.
And,
of,
and yeah,
we'll
so
put
have a
that.
sliding scale
Like a formal
of,
adoption
Yeah.
process.
Because I think the woman from Folly Beach, when we met with her, she said they collect a lot of money, but they have a lot of enforcement, they have an enforcement officer.
Right.
yes,
And
yes,
I
they do.
think For some reason, 300,000 sticks in my head.
Jenna.
That it was a lot of money, and they actively use that money, the city does, to
Mhm.
replace those trees.
Yeah, they're very proactive with that.
Yeah.
So possible sliding scale for reimbursement based on, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. Thanks,
So
Brittany.
next month, look at a little
Yeah,
bit.
I like the concept of like adopting a tree, because I think a lot of the problem from the city's perspective, at least in the beginning, is that it's gotta be water,
Yeah.
and, so I know we discussed that with the palms. So if you have somebody that's willing to take on that initial, get it started, get it growing, in the end, we get a tree,
Yeah, I think
I think kind of regardless of where it is.
And Katie, you're talking about if it's on like public property, adopting a tree?
No, I'm thinking private property. I mean,
Oh.
at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter where it is. I mean, every tree that we plant on the island is some benefit,
Right, well, I think that the
Um,
whole gist of the proposal is that if you're getting the money and planting the tree on your land, it's your, you take that's built in.
Yeah,
we want it to be
we
your
want it to be
tree.
your tree.
You paid for half of it, it's on your property. We want you to,
We want you to
Take care
take
of
care
it.
of it, yeah.
and the incentive would be there, I think, too. But we did talk a little bit about just straight public property, and that's the challenge. If somebody's just willing to give $500, but it goes at a random corner, the challenge is you don't have somebody to water it, maintain it, and it may not
not live,
survive. So
yeah.
it's the beauty of putting it on a person's property.
Okay, well, we
Right,
have,
I guess that's what I'm saying, is that I would be even more favorable for the city to pay even a higher percentage on private property because somebody, just to have somebody take care of it, because obviously we have this fund and we're not using it. So why are we not using it? Because nobody wants to have to water these trees, you know, I mean, we were just talking about that at the one of the meetings about, even putting grass in at the new pathway on Waterway, you know, it's going to be a challenge because, you know, if I put grass in my yard, I'm going to water it for the first 2 weeks. And, you know, if the city does it, then nobody's going to water it.
okay, well, we have a
And
second.
get it started.
Are we done with discussion? Are we good?
Yeah, I mean,
Good to vote? What do you think, Eric?
no, I think we have a second, right?
Yeah,
We're
we
good.
did.
I was just thinking, I mean, there seems to be a lot of energy up behind this, so I think we should harness it. It seems like there's kind of three kind of sub-projects. One is like the eligibility requirements. What do we want, what constitutes as a tree that's going to get the money? The second is the process.
Yes.
Once you have an eligible tree identified, how do you shepherd that through our website to get kind of approval, who approves it, what are the steps? And then the third is like the marketing piece. How do we get a lot of PR behind it so that people actually use it? So maybe we divide up into those three groups, and then between now and the next meeting, meet, and then we can cover that. And the line on, eligibility requirements, process, and then marketing. And then
Okay.
if we align on those three things, I think then we could probably get it to council in August.
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
September, August?
Yeah, by the
August.
fall.
I'll help with marketing, and I bet Charlotte can help with marketing.
And piggybacking off what Douglas said with the ATAX, just so you can think about like with the process, the application process, ATAX has theirs open at a certain time so that they have the opportunity to review it all, and then it makes it into the budget, right?
Yeah.
So just, they start the budget process really, like in January, and so like the applications for ATAX, I think I can send you the timeline if you want of how
Yeah,
ATAX does their
if you
stuff.
could, yeah.
I think I put it in the paper and stuff in January, and then it's done by a certain time, and there's a review process. But then that way, council's voting on it in enough time to make it into the next budget year.
That's really smart.
Okay, great. Yeah,
That
Well-
would keep the process efficient as well, where you guys are looking at a
Yes.
slug of them for the year. It goes to the council, here's 8 requests for trees, they can kind of deal with it efficiently, so that might be a good model.
yeah, if you could send that to me, Nicole, that would be great. Okay. Well, then, are we ready to vote to at least move this forward to the these next stages?
Yes.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great.
So do you want to share marketing?
Yeah.
Then, and you, because I think we have
I
like
c-
3
I can-
leaders.
And I'll work
then-
on the process between Douglas and using the ATAX, and then it would just be the eligibility. And I think that's,
Who is it?
I'm happy to,
oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
but-
Britain.
that's fine.
Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. Okay, great.
So then I'll help I think all three of you need help.
Yeah.
And there's 3 of us here, so do you?
Why
what do you
don't,
all-
I think the process is gonna be, well, I don't know, if the ATAX,
I can come up
You
with
wanna-
a marketing plan pretty easily.
I can help you with
you
process.
wanna work with the
Sure,
process?
yeah.
Okay, all
So
right.
maybe we just find like a time, either, it could be even on the phone, just
Yeah.
to kind of hash
And
it
I'll
out.
have her send me the
Yeah.
ATAX.
Yeah, so we'll coordinate.
Okay.
And it can go well, in terms of marketing, as we pull this guide, tweak the Sullivan's Island guide and have the Isle of Palms guide, those two things can be promoted at the same time once we.
Yeah, the
get
native
it.
tree guy, yeah.
These are native trees, we encourage you to plant.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's all gonna be
There's
native
economic
trees.
support,
We're,
yeah.
we're not gonna be, yeah. Okay. Well, we're running a little bit over, so let's, at least do the native landscape contest, because it's pretty well put together, right?
Right, I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware that we were doing this native landscaping contest this summer, and, I'll need to get with Josh to help publicize it. But, we already have a form on there is a native, there is a page on the website for native plants. It's really kind of geared around the existing city's garden that's over in the triangle piece of land off of. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there it is, yeah.
There it is. So, and if you scroll down, can you scroll down to show, well, we put at the top the contest application, but below it, there was already information about the garden that Laura and
Mary
other
Pringle
members of the
and-
committee
Yeah.
helped create, along with some information for people that helps them learn what plants they might want to add to their own property. So that's already somewhat in place. So we'll just need to get the word out. And I was looking for some input too on if anybody for judging, and I guess maybe Mary would be a good.
Mary would be
Maybe we
great
should
if she's
just-
available.
I was a little bit wondering, like, should Mary do it if she has one of the best homes with the best gardens? But I think it may be appropriate for her to be one of the judges. But if anybody knows of anybody else that might be a good judge, I mean, we would get 3 judges and kind of do. I think staff can speak to. I'm not sure how the Arbor Day photo contest came together, but that seemed pretty straightforward and came together pretty well. And Acme had gift cards. How did that come together? Did you guys brainstorm that, or did Acme come to you guys?
just asked Acme and they donated the gift card and I put it on Facebook and it was random, spun a wheel.
Oh, okay. How many people
It
participated?
was like 4 or 5. So
4 or
it was
5.
pretty
Okay.
easy.
Yeah. But once we get winners, then we can do a little write-up on them and show photos of their gardens. So, yeah. The other thing idea that I wanted to float, in addition to just making sure everybody understood or knew about the contest and could help share it with people, is an idea the Isle of Palms used to have a garden club that has kind of independent of the city, kind of like the Exchange Club, but it kind of has, they've folded up shop essentially, as a lot of their members were older, but it seemed like maybe we could revive that as a more of a native landscaping focused garden club. And I didn't know if anybody in this group would be interested in exploring that idea. I'm probably not the right person exactly. I could be supportive, but I got a lot going on. So, but if it spoke to anybody, then, it wouldn't even necessarily have to be a city thing, because the original garden club was not, or maybe it would work well as a city thing, maybe supported by the rec department. That would be one of the questions to kind of look at. So, just wanted to put that out there in case anybody was interested.
Okay.
One more thing, idea or thought on that. Are there any garden stores around that kind of specialize in native plants?
There's one in West Ashley, Roots
and Shoots. And then Charlene Johnson has her own business. It's not in an actual store. She does basically like pop-ups. And it's called Native Plants to the People is the name of her business. And she sells online. You can order her plants online. And then she has different places where you can pick them up. And then she does attend different gardening events when they come up. And I think she goes to some of the farmers markets, although I don't think she has come to our IOP farmers market before.
In the spring, there's a lot
Maybe,
of,
maybe we could hit her up to start the garden club, and then people could buy from her.
well, she lives on James Island. So.
She lives on James
Oh,
Island.
okay, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
But there are, I mean, in the spring, there are several native plant events that happen in Mount Pleasant that are a good place to get.
Yes.
And maybe in the fall too.
And yes, and she definitely participates in that.
But I think if we want to see these things happen, we have to tell people how to do it. Because I think they want to do the right thing, like I know, I'm like, I want to do the right thing, but I don't really know what are native plants, I don't know where to
Exactly.
get them.
Right.
And then it becomes like, a lot, and then I just move on to something else.
Yeah.
Well, and I think maybe it is partly just to let people know that there is this resource that we have online that does provide some of that information, and we just need to get people pointed to it.
So
We
where-
could
yeah,
expand
where do
on
you
it.
buy them?
I mean,
on
that's
that,
part of, that's
Yeah.
part of the matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, is encouraging people to plant
Yeah.
more native. And that's also something, I'm gonna dovetail into our last item, so we can wrap it up, but, we have the farmer's market coming up again this month, and I checked with, Tammy and with Carrie, and we can have a table at the farmer's market. We can give away the, compost buckets, and we can utilize the signs, because that's what we talked about doing, utilizing our signs for the table, and we don't have to use them all. We can rotate them over the course of the summer. So I'm definitely going to be able to be available for the one, it's next Thursday. I think it's the third Thursday of the month.
I can help with that.
So, okay. But I want to make sure we have everybody. I'm not going to be able to do it in July or August. I'm going to be out of town that Thursday. I'll be here for the EAC, but I won't be in town for the farmer's market. So anyway, I wanted to let y'all know that we're going to re-up with that and figure out who can help over the course of the summer, because it'll goes through September.
Yeah, I think there's like a Halloween. I think there's a
I think October is the- yeah, I
where they
think-
do the movie theater.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's the last one is October, yeah, so June through October.
Cool.
Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all very much. Very productive meeting.
Susan, do you
Go,
know
go,
if
on your
we
plate.
have any master gardeners?
Thank you, Katie.
Based on this
Do you,
process.
are you
Yeah.
have any master